You were forged in fire, not built in comfort. No wonder they burn when you walk into the room. They hate what they can't touch. They whisper behind closed doors about your glow, your energy, your peace, because it exposes their chaos. They stare too long, then look away fast, like your presence strikes something raw in them. And it does. Because you are the reminder that pain doesn't have to make you bitter. That age doesn't mean decline. That scars can shine like armor, not wounds. This message is for you, the ones they never expected to rise, the ones they tried to break, bury, and overlook. But you didn't just survive. You evolved, you sharpened, you became. And now your very existence challenges everything they thought they knew about strength, grace, and time. You don't just age, you ascend. Before we go deeper, hit that like button and subscribe. Not just for numbers, but to help spread this truth. Every like, every share tells the algorithm that this message matters. It tells YouTube there are chosen ones waking up, remembering who they are. So, engage. Help awaken the rest. Let's get to it. The world looks at you and doesn't understand how you can be this radiant, this steady, this alive. They wonder how you look like time forgot you. But it's not that time forgot. It's that you used time. While they let the years wear them down, you let the years build you up. The pain didn't break you, it baptized you. The loneliness didn't hollow you, it purified you. You carry something ancient, like the soul of a warrior, disguised in modern skin. You were chosen, and with that choosing came weight. Not everyone will understand it. Not everyone can. They see your calm as arrogance, your wisdom as intimidation. But it's not their job to understand. It's yours to keep moving with purpose, while their confusion grows into quiet respect or loud envy. Your enemies can't stand that you didn't fold, that you didn't get bitter, that you didn't age the way pain usually makes people age. Twisted, tired, angry at the world. You aged like oak, not like glass. You deepened, darkened, and became more rooted. And now your stillness screams louder than their noise. Your grace becomes their punishment. Your peace is their torment. You are haunted by greatness, and that greatness haunts those who tried to define you by your wounds. They thought pain would slow you down, but pain became your compass. They thought aging would dull your edge. But time only taught you how to strike smarter. You've become a mystery, a contradiction they can't decode, a calm storm, a gentle fire, a light too bright to look at, but too mesmerizing to turn away from. When they try to figure out your secret, they look in the wrong places. They think it's skincare, diet, lucky genes. But your glow, it's spiritual. It's what happens when your soul refuses to carry bitterness. It's what happens when you learn to forgive, not because they deserved it, but because you deserved peace. And that peace shows in your posture, your presence, your eyes. They stare because you carry the kind of silence that speaks louder than their shouting. You walk into a room and shift the air, not because you're loud, but because you're aligned. You don't try to prove anything. You are the proof. Proof that divine protection exists. Proof that chosen ones don't crack under pressure. They crystallize. You've been through hell and came back glowing. That glow wasn't bought. It was earned. In prayers whispered through tears. In lonely nights where you begged for light and chose not to let the darkness win. Every wrinkle, every laugh line, every soft shadow under your eye, it's not age. It's a testimony. They see mature, but what they're really seeing is majestic. They see older, but what they're really seeing is elevated. The world's obsession with youth is rooted in fear. Fear of time, fear of mortality, fear of irrelevance. But you are timeless, because your soul didn't age. It awakened, and your awakening is the very thing that unsettles those still asleep. So let them watch, let them wonder, let them whisper. You're not here to blend in. You're here to remind. You're here to reflect, to show others that pain can polish, that trials can transform, and that age is not a thief. It's a teacher. You are walking proof that beauty grows deeper when it's fed by purpose, not ego. You are not aging. You are becoming more you. The path of the chosen is not easy, but it's sacred, and every step you've taken, even the stumbles, have led you to this power, a power that doesn't scream, but shifts, a presence that doesn't chase validation, but commands respect. And that, more than anything, is what shocks the world. You are the storm they never saw coming, the fire that never burned out, the light that refused to dim. So before we go any further, I need you to lock in with me. If this message already hit something deep in you, if you've felt the eyes on you, the confusion in their faces when they realize time hasn't touched you the way it touched them, then this message is yours. Drop a 777 in the comments if you know your glow, your age, your presence has left people speechless. That's not by accident, it's by design. And now, let's go deeper, step by step. If you're truly chosen, something inside you will not let you click away. Let's begin. Number 1, they tried to bury you, but you were the seed that knew the storm was coming. Some people age like milk, spoiled by bitterness and envy. You aged like firewood, crackling with wisdom, burning brighter with time. They never saw this coming. Your face, your presence, your glow. It's off script. You were supposed to fade, supposed to break, supposed to age like the rest of them, brittle, bitter, begging for relevance. But you didn't play by their rules. You rewrote them, and now they're rattled. See, they laughed when you disappeared for a while. They thought you were hiding. They thought life had finally beaten you down. But you weren't running. You were rebuilding. You didn't retreat to collapse. You retreated to ascend. While they were busy trying to look loud, you were listening to the whispers of the divine. While they mocked your silence, you were mastering the language of power. That's what they don't understand. Silence is not weakness. Stillness is not surrender. The retreat of the chosen is not escape. It's the gathering of force, like an arrow pulled back before it's released into flight. And now, you're in motion, and they can't unsee it. You walk into the room, and their confidence crumbles. They stare because your glow rewrites their narrative. Your skin, your energy, your ageless spirit. It contradicts everything they've been told about time. You're not preserved. You're reborn, over and over again. But let's stop and get real for a second. Some of you are still doubting. Some of you still think being chosen is some poetic fairy tale that only lives in lofty words and dreamy videos. Let me say this loud and clear. Stop playing small. Stop pretending the signs weren't there. Do you think the universe gives divine protection to just anybody? Do you think angels just hover over random lives for fun? That intuition you've always had, the one that warned you before betrayal, guided you through heartbreak, pulled you away from toxic circles, that's evidence. You didn't make it up. You've been chosen, set apart, divinely aligned. And every time you doubted your calling, you delayed your breakthrough. Every time you looked around for validation from the same people who secretly resented your glow, you traded your crown for crumbs. You've got to stop that. Chosen ones don't beg to be seen. They move in such a way that the universe makes them impossible to ignore. You see, when the system was built to break you, and you still stand here unbroken, you become dangerous, because you've proved that their whole setup doesn't work on you. And now they don't know what to do. The game they've been playing doesn't work anymore. You glitched the matrix. You made isolation your womb, not your tomb. You turned silence into strategy. You transformed pain into purpose. That's not ordinary. That's not common. That's power. And they feel it, even if they don't know how to name it. And when they look at you now, after all you've survived, they feel exposed. Because next to your grace, their bitterness becomes obvious. Next to your calm, their chaos becomes loud. They can't hide behind noise when you've mastered the art of silence. You want to know why your presence shakes people, because you remind them of everything they gave up on. You reflect their abandoned dreams, their wasted strength, their surrendered faith, and it haunts them. You are the mirror they didn't ask for, but can't look away from. And still, you dare to question yourself. Still, you wonder if you're really chosen. How many more signs do you need? How many miracles have to unfold in the background for you to finally claim the title that was always yours? How many times do you have to be saved at the last second before you accept that heaven has a vested interest in your survival? You are not just aging, you are evolving. While others dread the passage of time, you have become more refined with every rotation of the sun. You are proof that growth doesn't have to leave you bitter. That struggle doesn't have to strip away your softness. That healing is not a trend. It's a weapon. And here's what's wild. Your enemies thought they were playing the system. They thought they could cheat, manipulate, gaslight, sabotage. But when the universe chooses someone, all those tactics eventually collapse. They were tampering with a divine equation, and now the math ain't mathing anymore. You are not glowing because of good genes or a skincare routine. You are glowing because of alignment, because you let go of the weight that others carried like a badge. You forgave when you could have cursed. You stayed soft in a world that tried to harden you. That is why you look untouched by time. That is why they can't understand how someone who's walked through hell still smells like heaven. And yes, people are shocked. They'll keep being shocked. They'll keep asking, how do you look like that? How are you so peaceful? How are you aging in reverse? How did you survive that and still have joy? Let them ask. Don't answer. Just be the answer. You've been through too much to act small. You've healed too deeply to entertain shallow. You've evolved too far to keep explaining yourself to those who choose confusion over clarity. You're not here to be understood. You're here to be felt, to walk into rooms and shift frequencies, to speak when necessary. But most times, your presence alone is enough. So next time you feel that doubt creeping in, when you question why you feel set apart, or wonder why certain people couldn't stay in your life, remember this: you weren't rejected. You were refined. You weren't left behind. You were lifted above. And you weren't aging. You were ascending. They played with the system. You are the system reset. And this is just the beginning. Number 2. When heaven has a hand in your story, even hell can't win. You didn't survive by accident. You were carried, guided, protected. You walk with favor that can't be forged, only granted. They don't get it. They stare at you, trying to solve the riddle of your radiance. They wonder why you don't wear the years like weight, why your glow doesn't fade with time, why you're not bitter, broken, or bent under the pressure life threw at you. But what they don't see, what they can't see, are the unseen hands that have held you through every fall, lifted you when even hope tried to abandon you. People think you just got through it. But no, you were carried through it. They didn't hear your prayers in the dark, or the silent screams no one saw. They weren't there on the nights when everything felt too heavy, and your spirit almost gave out. But someone was. There was a presence in the shadows. You know it. You felt it. That sudden peace in the chaos. That impossible escape when your back was against the wall. That wasn't luck. That was divine design. The truth is, your life should have gone another way. You had every reason to spiral, to become like them, hardened, hopeless, poisoned by pain. But you didn't. Why? Because the universe had plans for you. You are chosen, and chosen ones are never left alone. There have been moments when things made no sense, when doors slammed, people betrayed you, and the path ahead disappeared. And yet somehow you made it through, not because you had all the answers, but because divine forces moved when you moved. You listened to whispers others ignored. You followed instincts that made no sense at the time. You trusted the pull in your gut when logic said otherwise. That's what separates you from the rest. You don't walk by sight alone. You walk by alignment. You don't just hope. You know something greater is always at work behind the scenes. That quiet confidence you carry, that calm in your eyes, that's not just healing. That's the residue of rescue. That's what it looks like when heaven won't let you fall. They call it luck. You call it protection. And here's the thing. Your enemies don't just hate your glow. They hate your grace. Because you didn't become cold. You didn't become cruel. You refused to let the darkness change you. That makes you dangerous. That makes you untouchable. You've made peace with the unseen. You've learned to work with the divine, not against it. When your spirit whispers, you don't hesitate. When an idea lights up inside you, you move on it. That's why the doors open for you. That's why things align when you stop forcing and start flowing. It's not random. It's real. It's sacred timing. And yes, people are confused. How do you keep rising? Why do you still look like the storm never touched you? Because the storm did touch you. It just couldn't stay. You were always wrapped in something stronger. You're walking proof that faith leaves fingerprints on your life. But let's not sugarcoat it. Even chosen ones have moments of doubt. Moments where you wonder, do they still hear me? Am I really being guided, or am I just imagining it? If that's you, listen closely. You're not imagining it. You've come too far, through too much, with too little, for this to all be coincidence. You are not here by accident. You are being led, even when the path feels unclear, even when the silence is loud. Your strength isn't just yours. It's shared, borrowed from realms beyond what eyes can see. That's why you still shine. Not because life didn't hit you, but because you chose to heal with help. You chose to believe there was meaning in the mess. And that belief, that faith, is now embedded in your presence. It's in your laugh. It's in the way you walk into a room without needing to prove a thing. It's in the way people pause around you, unsure why they suddenly feel calm in your presence. They feel it because they're standing near someone who has been touched by grace. You've become a portal, a reminder, proof that beauty has nothing to do with age or surface. Your glow is a map, one written in scars, in wisdom, in unshakable trust. And while they chase trends, injections, and empty validation, you've tapped into something eternal. You were never just healing. You were being reconstructed. You didn't come this far to question if you're protected. You came this far to remember that you always have been, and always will be. Because the hands that hold you, they do not tremble. Number 3, they judge what they can't understand, but you were built to be unforgettable. Let them judge you. Let them talk. They only throw stones at things that shine. They don't know what to do with you. You walk in, and your presence says everything your words don't have to. You don't shrink, you don't beg, and you don't chase approval. That alone is enough to make their tongues start wagging. You're not just glowing. You're glowing with purpose, and that unsettles the ones who lost theirs a long time ago. Understand this. The judgment you face isn't personal. It's spiritual. It's a reaction to the light you carry. The kind of light that doesn't come from creams or compliments, but from confronting your demons, healing your wounds, and choosing to rise instead of rot. The same people who whisper about you behind closed doors are the ones who silently wish they had your peace. Your glow doesn't confuse them, it convicts them. You've become a living contradiction to everything they were taught. That age must dull, that pain must break, that suffering must make you hard. You proved otherwise, and that truth alone burns them up inside. They tell themselves, it must be fake. She's just lucky. He thinks he's better than us. No, you've simply refused to become a product of this broken world. You chose to be reformed, not deformed. And that decision, that stance, infuriates people who have already surrendered to mediocrity. Let's be honest, you've felt the sting. You've seen the glances, heard the rumors, noticed the energy shift when you walk into a room. People don't always say it directly, but their body language screams it. Who does she think she is? And the answer is, you know exactly who you are. You are chosen. You are forged, not found. Sculpted through fire, not flattery. And it shows, not just in your face, not just in the way you age like time bowed before you, but in your calm, your silence, your refusal to shrink just to make others comfortable. You didn't come this far to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. They'll always question what they're unwilling to become. When you carry divine alignment, it confuses those who only know how to chase the world's approval. You don't operate on their frequency. You don't hustle for crumbs of attention. You move with instruction. That makes you a threat. Because you're not here to fit in. You're here to remind, to reflect, to make people feel what they buried. And yes, there are days it stings. You're human. You've had moments of doubt, of wondering if maybe you should tone it down, play it small, make yourself more palatable. But then that voice inside you, the same one that's whispered you through every storm, speaks again. You were not built to blend in. You were born to stand out and stand firm. So no, you don't argue with the critics. You don't get in the mud with people whose hearts have hardened into bitterness. You stand, you shine, and you outlast. Because at the end of the day, no amount of gossip or judgment can undo the work that's been done within you. They don't know how many nights you cried yourself into clarity, how many betrayals you turned into breakthroughs. They don't see the weight you've carried. They just see that somehow you're still standing tall. Let them wonder. Let them assume you had it easy, while you hold the truth that your joy was earned. Let them scoff at your peace, while they secretly wish they could sleep at night like you do. Let them call it arrogance, when really it's just the natural result of being anchored. You don't have to prove your worth to people who abandoned their own. So, when they stare, stare back, not with pride, but with presence. When they talk, let your silence speak volumes. Because the truth is this: they're not really judging you, they're wrestling with themselves. Your presence reminds them of what they gave up on. Your growth triggers their stagnation. Your glow exposes the places they still haven't healed. And that's not your problem. Your only task now is to keep rising, to keep glowing, to stay rooted in the knowing that your authenticity, your beauty, your power, all of it, was earned through fire. And no amount of whispering can take away what was forged in silence. Because when you're chosen, judgment isn't the enemy, it's confirmation. Number 4, laugh loud in a world that tried to silence you. Your joy is rebellion, your smile is defiance, and your glow, that's the war paint of a soul that refused to bow to the darkness. They don't understand how you still smile. They see the light in your eyes and mistake it for ignorance, like life must have gone easy on you. But if only they knew, if only they saw the nights when your joy was nothing but a flicker, trembling against winds that howled like they were sent to snuff you out. If only they heard the cries you buried under your breath, or the prayers you whispered when hope was nowhere in sight. But you chose joy anyway, and not that fake, forced, surface-level stuff, not the smile you post through the pain kind. No, you chose real joy, the kind rooted in defiance, the kind that grows in the soil of sorrow and still dares to bloom, the kind that says, even if everything falls apart, I still have breath, I still have purpose, I still have power. That joy, that's sacred. It's not naive, it's strategy, it's survival, and more than that, it's your superpower. Because in a world that profits off your pain, staying joyful is the most radical thing you can do. You've seen what bitterness does. You've watched it age people, harden them, twist their spirit into something unrecognizable. You refused to let that be your story. You didn't pretend the pain wasn't real. You just refused to let it be your identity. And now, they see you glowing. They see something unbreakable in your energy, and it confuses them. Because the world expects wounds to define you. It expects trauma to make you cold. It demands that you let go of wonder and replace it with worry. But you broke the pattern. You shattered the narrative. You smiled when you had every reason to scream. And that terrifies people who can't figure out how you still have warmth in your voice. Some think you're faking it. Others think you're lucky. But those who really pay attention, they feel it. They sense it's real. They don't know how, but they know something deeper is keeping your flame alive. That's because your joy isn't cosmetic. It's cosmic. It's spiritual, aligned, protected. And here's the wild part. Your joy isn't just for you. Every time you smile despite the pain, you give someone else permission to believe that maybe they can make it too. Your light becomes a mirror. Your laughter becomes a reminder that the storm doesn't get the final word. So yes, it's work. You've had to fight to protect your peace. You've had to say no to darkness, even when it felt easier to just go numb. You've had to dig through the wreckage of disappointment and still find one reason, just one, to be grateful. But you did it. And that choice? It saved you. Over and over again. That's why you don't let the world tell you how to feel. You don't subscribe to the culture of cynicism that says being numb is the new normal. You still believe in beauty, in joy, in grace, and yes, in miracles, because you are one. They stare at your joy and call it unrealistic. But what's more unrealistic? Holding on to hope or walking through life dead on the inside? You didn't come this far to join the masses in misery. You came to shift the atmosphere. You walk into rooms and people feel lighter, not because you're trying, just because you exist as proof that joy is still possible. And let's be clear, your joy is not the absence of pain. It's the presence of power. It's your refusal to be defined by anything that tried to break you. It's you choosing every single day to nurture the flame inside you. The one life tried to put out more times than you can count. Let them scoff. Let them roll their eyes. You're not living to impress those who gave up on themselves. You're living to honor the version of you that never stopped believing there was still something worth smiling about. That version of you, that childlike wonder, that sacred spark. You protected it. You kept it alive. And now, you wear that joy like a crown. So keep laughing loud. Keep glowing without apology. Keep walking in rooms and disarming darkness without even trying. Because you didn't just choose joy. Joy chose you. Number 5. When you align, the universe can't help but overflow. They called it luck until they realized the flood only came when you stopped playing small and started walking like the divine was watching your every step. Let them talk. Let them wonder how you keep winning, how blessings seem to track you down like bloodhounds on a scent. Let them call it luck. Let them mock what they don't understand. Because what flows in your life didn't come from luck. It came from alignment. You weren't handed abundance. You activated it. You broke the chains that told you scarcity was normal. You stopped begging and started becoming. You stopped chasing and started attracting. You stopped hustling for crumbs and started commanding overflow. And when you did that, when your spirit synced up with the truth of who you are, the floodgates opened. People don't see the work you've done in silence. They don't see the nights you wrestled with doubt, the mornings you rewired your thoughts before your feet hit the floor. They don't know the weight of walking away from everything that didn't match your calling. The jobs, the people, the identities you outgrew. All they see now is the shine. But that shine was forged, chosen, protected. You weren't born into abundance. You walked yourself into it, and you paid for every ounce of it with discipline, self-respect, faith, and radical self-honesty. You didn't just manifest this, you matched it. When others spoke defeat, you spoke possibility. When they stayed stuck in, "Why me?" you asked, "What's next?" That shift, that refusal to sink, changed everything. While they obsessed over obstacles, you trained your eyes to see openings. And that mindset rewired your frequency. You became a magnet for what matches your truth, not just your desires. That's what they don't get. Abundance isn't about money stacking up in a bank account. It's about alignment. It's about becoming so in tune with the divine blueprint on your life that heaven can trust you with more. More responsibility, more influence, more joy, more overflow. You didn't pray for abundance just to hoard it. You became a vessel, a river, a living testimony of what happens when you let go of bitterness and grab hold of belief. You've been broken, but never bitter, knocked down, but never out. You've faced betrayal and used it as fuel. You've been stretched, but instead of snapping, you expanded. That's abundance. That's power. And now people are watching, asking, studying your steps, trying to figure out the secret. But there's no secret, only alignment. Only the quiet, disciplined decision to protect your peace, nurture your gratitude, and trust that the universe is not against you. You don't just survive, you thrive. Because you've learned that abundance isn't just something you receive, it's something you host. You house it in your words, in your walk, in your willingness to keep your heart soft in a hard world. You don't wait for miracles, you expect them. You've seen too much not to. Too many coincidences lined up perfectly. Too many closed doors suddenly swing open. Too many moments where what you needed appeared, almost like heaven placed it there with your name on it. That's not ego. That's evidence. The evidence that when your soul is clear, the universe responds. So while others clutch their scarcity mindsets like shields, you move in generosity. You pour out peace, love, presence. You give without fear, because you know what flows through you can't be stopped. The more you give, the more you receive. The more you bless others, the more the blessings chase you down. This is the rhythm now, the dance, the sacred exchange between you and the unseen forces that govern everything. You've stopped fighting the current and started flowing with it. And no, it's not perfect. There are still hard days, still moments of tension, still shadows that creep in, trying to convince you the good is temporary. But you've seen too much. You've tasted too much truth to be seduced by fear. You know the flow returns when your heart stays open. So you stay open, you stay expectant. And because of that, the abundance keeps coming. Not just in money, but in moments, in divine timing, in new connections, in clarity, in freedom, in strength, in peace, in the kind of wealth this world can't measure. Let them scoff. Let them try to replicate the formula. What they'll never understand is this: you don't chase abundance, you become it. And once you become it, it can't stop finding you. Chapter 6. Time didn't age you, it crowned you. They thought time would take your glow, but time just polished it until it shined too bright for their comfort. They were waiting for you to fade, to slow down, to get dull, tired, bitter. They believed the lies the world sold them. that time is a thief, that every birthday is a countdown to invisibility, that only the young are allowed to shine. But you rewrote the script. You didn't shrink with time. You expanded. And now they stare, puzzled, a little threatened, maybe even jealous, because somehow you've made peace with the very thing they fear most: time. You no longer run from your age. You wear it, like armor, like art, like proof that you've walked through fire and came out refined, not ruined. You've made aging look like an honor, because it is. Every wrinkle, every gray hair, every stretch mark is a signature from time itself, a stamp saying, she lived, he endured, they overcame. Time didn't destroy you, it danced with you. You stopped fighting the clock and started flowing with it. And that shift, that radical acceptance, transformed everything. While others hide from the mirror, you face it, not with shame, but with reverence. You see not loss, but gain, not decay, but depth. That's why your glow doesn't fade. It intensifies. That's why people do double takes when they see your energy, your presence, your radiance. It's not that time forgot you. It's that you mastered the rhythm. You've learned that youth was never about age. It was always about aliveness, curiosity, openness. The moment you understood that, time stopped being your enemy and became your companion. They don't get it. They think you've had it easy, that you stumbled on some secret potion or beauty hack. But your secret was never a cream or a cleanse. It was peace. And peace can't be faked. Peace can't be purchased. Peace is earned through battle, through surrender, through choosing love over resentment, forgiveness over bitterness, healing over hiding. And you chose right, over and over again. Yes, life hit you. Yes, the clock kept ticking. But with every tick, you gained something most people miss: clarity, insight, spiritual muscle. And you built a relationship with time that's rooted in honor, not fear. Now, each birthday is a celebration of wisdom. Each year is another layer of power added to your spirit. While others dread the mirror, you meet it like an old friend. You see history, triumph, and grace staring back at you. That's why your face lights up rooms, why your voice carries weight, why people feel something different around you. Because you are in harmony with what they are still fighting, and your peace exposes their panic. You live in a culture that worships youth, but you, chosen one, are a walking rebellion. You are proof that beauty doesn't vanish, it deepens, that joy doesn't die, it evolves, that purpose doesn't fade, it focuses. You make people question everything they've been told about aging, because you are alive in a way that most never reach, no matter how young they are. Let them be shocked. Let them wonder. They're looking at someone who has cracked the code. When you love your life will love you back. Time, instead of tearing you down, starts building you up. Every moment spent in gratitude raises your vibration. Every year you live with intention adds to your glow. You've created an ecosystem of abundance within yourself, and the outside world can't help but respond. You've stopped resisting what you can't control, and because of that, time now works for you. It brings you allies, opens doors, deepens connections, sharpens your vision. And as you continue to age, to ascend, you walk as a beacon to others. A living reminder that the clock is not their enemy, that if they stop fearing time, they can start receiving from it, like you have. You are not growing old. You are growing into yourself. And that, chosen one, is a masterpiece in motion. Let them chase youth. You've found something better, grace that multiplies, wisdom that speaks without a word, radiance that doesn't dim, it dominates. Time didn't take your crown, it handed it to you. Chapter 7. Your presence is the earthquake that leaves souls rearranged. Some people speak and are forgotten. You breathe and are remembered. That's the weight of true presence. It echoes long after you're gone. They don't even know why they remember you, but they do. Long after your footsteps have faded, the energy remains. The room still holds your vibration. People replay your words like a melody they didn't realize had meaning until the silence hit. You leave something behind that lingers, and not in the way most do. You don't demand attention, you command it without trying, because you carry truth, and truth has gravity. You don't walk in like a performer seeking applause. You walk in like an answered prayer, disrupting chaos with calm, meeting tension with clarity, and cutting through noise with presence. You don't need a spotlight. You are the light. And the moment your frequency enters the atmosphere, it rearranges things. People don't know what to call it. They say things like, "There's just something about you." They feel seen, heard, remembered. Like for a brief moment, they weren't invisible to the world. That's what you do. You unveil people to themselves. And here's what most will never understand. That kind of presence doesn't come cheap. You've earned every ounce of your vibration. Every time someone feels safe in your presence, it's because you fought for that peace within yourself. Every time someone feels inspired by your words, it's because you've bled behind closed doors to find your own voice. Every calm aura, every warm glance, every healing silence, it was paid for in prayer, in loss, in nights of deep internal labor. You didn't wake up with this energy. You built it, brick by brick, battle by battle. You've tended your inner landscape like sacred ground. You've burned the weeds of self-doubt. You've poured water on faith when everything felt dry. You chose softness in a world that celebrates hardness. You chose healing when revenge was easier. You chose stillness when noise could have numbed the pain. And now, the world feels you, even in your silence. You don't just walk into rooms, you arrive, fully, authentically, without apology. You don't have to speak to shift the room. Your spirit does the talking. Your peace, your groundedness, your quiet strength. It says more than 1,000 empty words ever could. People are drawn to you, not because you entertain them, but because you elevate them. You awaken something ancient in them, something they forgot they had. You remind them of their own light, their own untapped strength, their forgotten dreams. You don't just inspire people, you ignite them. And not everyone will like that. Some will feel intimidated, triggered, even hostile, because your presence doesn't allow people to stay asleep. It exposes, it convicts, it makes people feel again, and for some, that's terrifying. But even if they don't like it, they'll never forget it. You were sent, placed, appointed. There are no coincidences in your journey. You've been positioned in key moments, in lives on the verge, in spaces where your energy was needed, not just wanted. You're not here to impress, you're here to impact. And impact always leaves a mark. Every kind word you gave when you were running on empty, every time you held space for someone else while your heart was breaking, every moment you chose to be the calm in someone else's storm, it counted. It all echoed. And that echo is now your legacy. You're not chasing legacy in monuments or stages. You're leaving it in hearts, in minds, in souls you touched without even knowing. Your impact isn't measured in applause. It's measured in transformation. You are the kind of presence people remember in silence, in struggle, in moments when life breaks them open and they remember something you said, or simply how you made them feel safe to be seen. So, if you've ever wondered whether you mattered, whether your presence really made a difference, let this be your confirmation. You're unforgettable. You are the calm after chaos, the breath after battle, the light at the edge of someone's breaking point. And that presence, your presence, echoes in places your feet have never even walked. Chapter 8. You were coded for greatness before you took your first breath. You weren't born to fit in, you were encoded to realign the world. Before the world could label you, shape you, or shrink you, something deep inside was already awake. Even as a child, there was a hum inside your bones, a knowing. You couldn't explain it. You didn't have the words. But you felt it. You looked at the world around you and knew, this isn't it. This can't be all there is. This can't be the whole truth. And you were right. While others clung to comfort and conformity, your soul burned for something more. You were never drawn to the beaten path. You wanted to build a new one, not out of rebellion, but because your spirit remembered what the world tried to make you forget. You are not here to follow. You are here to lead, to disrupt, to awaken, to transform. And make no mistake, the pull you felt your entire life wasn't imagination. It was activation. Your DNA carries codes that stretch back generations. Your ancestors bled for dreams they never got to see. And you are the answer. You are the walking, breathing evidence that the curse ends here, that the wound won't be passed on, that the chain breaks with you. You are the interruption to everything they said couldn't be undone. The rebellion that doesn't roar, it remembers. You remember who you are, even when the world told you to forget, even when life tried to beat it out of you, even when fear said, play small, and society said, blend in, and pain whispered, you're not enough. Still, you remembered. That's why no box could hold you, no title could define you, no room could shrink you. You weren't meant to fit, you were meant to expand, to unlock the blueprint encoded in your bones, to become what your lineage never dared to imagine. And yes, it's been lonely. Yes, you've been misunderstood. You've watched people walk away because your energy was too different, your dreams too big, your frequency too high. But they were never meant to go where you're going. You're not carrying their limitations, you're carrying your legacy. Because this path you're on, it's not just for you. When you heal backwards and forwards, touching generations that came before and those still to come. When you rise, you lift entire bloodlines. When you speak truth, you shake lies that stood for centuries. That's why it's been hard. That's why the pressure's been heavy. You're not just becoming, you're remembering. You are the medicine, the miracle, the manifestation of everything your people prayed for but didn't have the language to describe. You are the wildest possibility realized. And here's the truth they never told you. You don't need to know every step to be in your purpose. You don't need every answer to be aligned. The moment you move with intention, the path responds. The road rises to meet the one who walks it with divine fire. You don't chase your destiny. Your existence is the signal that activates it. And when you stop doubting and start aligning, the codes unlock. Synchronicities multiply, doors open, people arrive. Not because you forced it, but because the frequency of your truth became too loud to ignore. So no, you're not crazy. You're not overthinking. You're awakening. You're reactivating everything that has been dormant for too long. And the moment you fully step into it, no mask, no filter, no fear, the whole universe shifts. Because chosen ones don't wait for change. They are the change. You are not average. You never were. You are not meant to survive this life. You are designed to redefine it. You are here to be the voice that breaks silence, the light that shatters shadow, the presence that makes the room feel different. And no one can take that from you, because it's in your design, etched into the marrow of who you are. It's not hype, it's not ego, it's encoded truth. This isn't a moment. This is your activation. So walk like the earth remembers your footsteps, because it does. Chapter 9. You became the flame that lit 1,000 torches. The brightest lights don't scream, they shine. And in shining, they awaken the stars in others. At some point on your path, you realized, this isn't just about me anymore. Yes, you fought to heal. Yes, you clawed your way through the dark. Yes, you rebuilt yourself from the ashes of what tried to destroy you. But somewhere along the way, you became more than just a survivor. You became a signal, a mirror, a lighthouse. Your healing became their hope, your glow. It's not just decoration, it's direction. It's the quiet pulse that calls out to the weary, the lost, the ones who are hanging on by a thread. You don't even have to speak. Your presence tells the story. It says, if I made it out, you can too. And they feel it. Some don't even know why they feel better around you, why they suddenly believe in possibility again. But it's because your light interrupts their shadow. You don't fix them, you remind them. You don't force anything. You reflect their own hidden beauty back to them. And that chosen one is one of the rarest kinds of power. Your light is an invitation, not to follow you, but to return to themselves. That's why people gravitate toward you. That's why strangers open up without knowing why. That's why some can't stop thinking about a conversation you barely remember. It's not ego, it's impact. You carry a frequency that touches souls. And it's not something you fake. It's who you've become. But make no mistake, this didn't happen by accident. You earned this energy. You forged it in the fire. You gained it through choosing grace when bitterness was easier, through staying soft when life tried to harden you, through learning to listen to the quiet wisdom that most people drown out with noise. You didn't chase influence, you cultivated authenticity. And authenticity, that's magnetic. So yes, your light is for you, but it's also for them. For the ones who don't even know they're searching yet. For the ones walking through the same pain you once did. For the ones who need a sign that there's still something sacred in this loud, cold world. And the wildest part, you'll never fully know the ripple of your presence. You'll never hear about all the seeds you planted in a passing moment. You won't see every person who changed course because of your energy, but the divine sees it all. And your life? It is one long, living prayer, answered not only for yourself, but for others. Because your healing didn't stop with you. It became a bridge. And some people will only ever start crossing because they saw you walk across first. That's why you must keep shining, even when it feels unseen, even when it feels exhausting, even when the world around you keeps trying to dim everything bright and pure and real. Don't let them steal your light. Don't let their shadows convince you that you've lost your spark. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to activate the ones who are ready. And yes, some will only walk with you for a moment. But in that moment, something will shift. Something will awaken. Something will remember. Others will stay longer. They'll grow with you, rise with you, build with you. And those bonds, forged in authenticity, not attachment, are sacred beyond words. But whether for a second or a season, your presence is the blessing. Because you weren't just called to survive your storm. You were called to light the path for those still inside theirs. You are a sanctuary in human form, a quiet revolution, a gentle flame that sparks wildfires in others. So when doubt creeps in, when you wonder if what you're doing matters, remember this. Your very existence is proof that transformation is real. Your energy is proof that love without agenda still exists. Your story is proof that the end was never the end. It was the beginning of becoming. So keep glowing. Keep walking lit by your own fire, because in doing so, you give others permission to stop hiding. You remind them that it's never too late to rise, never too late to radiate, never too late to return to who they really are. You are not just the light. You are the spark. And so, chosen one, as you continue to rise, heal, and walk in divine alignment, remember this: your journey is far from over. In fact, it's just beginning. The world needs your light now more than ever. Not tomorrow, not next year. Now. Your story is sacred. Your glow is a message. And your presence is power. If this message stirred something in your spirit, like, subscribe, and drop the number 77 in the comments to declare that you are walking in your calling. Share this with another chosen one who needs to hear it. Let the light keep spreading.